And, again, talking about delivering healthcare, we're really lucky to have with us here today a couple of folks that are working to do that every day. First, we have Micheal Green, who's a consultant with in the world of digital health transformation strategy. And then we have Horia Radoi from Druid, who's a global manager with Druid, and they're going to be walking through some of the tips and techniques that they use at Druid to help bring digital transformation to their customers. And again, the chat box is open. Please do pop any questions that you have into the chat box. We'll be happy to answer those as well. And again, Micheal, Horia, thank you for joining us, and I'll hand the virtual podium over to you.
Thank you very much. Micheal, you're on mute.
That's quite all right. Good morning, and afternoon, evening, everyone. We're going to spend just a few minutes talking about the impact that the intelligent automation and drivers have been in the last couple of years. But specifically for this topic, we're going to talk about conversational AI and automation. So I've invited Druid to talk to us about how they're using this technology to allow users to interact with business systems and trigger automated processes through spoken and or written natural language, unlike just the traditional chat bot. So with that, Druid, sorry, Horia, would you please walk us through a couple of your slides and show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much. So starting to share my screen, please let me know when you can see it.
You're good.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So Druid came out of an idea that although enterprises and businesses and healthcare and all sorts of, let's call them enterprises, gather a lot of data, there still needs to be that human or human-like element that needs to make sense of the data. To begin with, I want to talk about Druid as an intelligent virtual assistant versus regular chat. Basically, in Druid, what we do is use natural language processing, use semantics, as well as integrate into robotic process automation and using machine learning to better serve our clients, to help enterprises and help companies better serve their clients or better serve their internal employees by basically providing them with the information on a per needed basis whenever this information is required. We're basically helping to accelerate the end-to-end customer automation and the digital transformation journey by basically identifying the departments where a conversational assistant can come into play, help unify the technologies that are already in place. So Druid doesn't come into, let's say, to replace something, but rather act as a layer on top of the technology that is already present in an enterprise and to enhance it for the end users, to provide an on-demand capabilities. This is a breakthrough of the efficiencies gained across organizations within 1 year. Basically, the way the Druid conversational assistants work is they help, they are trained, they help enterprises, they help basically users ask questions in natural language and provide answers to them based on the questions that they ask. Not only that, but extracting meaning from the questions or from the utterances stated by the users. And actually, in patient satisfaction, in the medical use cases in particular, Druid has shown a 35% increase in the patient satisfaction. The way Druid works is we act as a middle layer between the end users and the business processes currently in place, either interacting via RPA, APIs, or connecting directly to the databases on one side, on the business side, as well as integrating and interacting through the channels that the users are already familiar with. Not only that, but by taking the omni-channel approach in a low-code, no-code manner, we only need to develop the automation once in the Druid platform, as you will see in just a bit. And from there, the same automation can be deployed on any internal or external channels. As stated before, the channels that are currently present in an enterprise or in a hospital or in any institution, we're talking here texting, we're talking here voice, WhatsApps, Microsoft Teams, and so on. For the internal channels, as well as Facebook, WhatsApp for external, they are all present and natively supported by Druid. What Druid assistants can do in healthcare? Basically, we are able to help close the process. We're able to help the patients perform self-service. We're able to provide a live chat experience so that the contact center agents will not only have all the required information from the users on hand whenever they need to deal with a patient problem, but we're also making sure that the conversational assistant will first gather all the required information before this happens. We have, as I said before, multiple integrations that we're building, including some of the multi-channel systems that, like Salesforce, like ServiceNow, as well as multiple front-end technologies, as I mentioned before, Microsoft, Facebook, WhatsApp, Teams, Slack, Zoom, and so on. We are currently deployed all across the globe, trusted by a lot of companies spanning worldwide, as well as we are trusted and we are seen as a rising star in the conversational business automation market by multiple analysts. But enough for the PowerPoint presentation. Let me show you how a Druid conversational assistant can work in a clinic all on WhatsApp. So in this scenario, basically the user starts talking, the patient starts talking to the conversational assistant. I will increase the speed a little bit. And you can see here that we not only have the option to choose between multiple items inside the menu, but the conversational assistant is able to extract meaning from what it is said. For instance, the bot identified the name of the pill that needed to be taken and noted it so that at a future appointment, the doctor will have all that information on hand. Notice that by using natural language, we are able to interact with the conversation with the patients directly. We're able to identify whether or not they know the doctor's specialty. We can assist them in scheduling that particular appointment, and again extract information. For instance, next Monday at noon is not only just a random text, but the Druid conversational assistants will take meaning out of that and help the user and translate that into business objects that can be used within an automation. Similarly, notice how whenever the patient provides more information, like the doctor's name, the exact date, the bot is able to extract that and no longer needs to ask the repetitive, redundant questions like, when do you want the appointment? It is able to query various backend systems, basically acting as an aggregator for all of the data. It is able to perform OCR. It is able to take in specialized medical letters. For instance, since we need a medical letter for nephrology, and the patient had this on hand, the bot was able to extract it. Again, we're able from the Druid conversational assistant, again, all of this through natural language, to query multiple backend systems, identify what the user wants, and present the information relevant to them. Moreover, we can we can give the messages in a very rich format. So for instance, you can see here that we are able to pinpoint the location of the hospital. We can provide, basic advice according to the CDC or the various regulations, although this is not, of course, medical advice, as well as provide the users with, or the patients with, data that is relevant to them. I will ask if you guys have any questions so far, and if not, I will go ahead and show a second movie, a second video for that presents Druid in, let's say, in a more marketing way. By the way, let me know if you can hear the audio.
We can't hear the audio, Horia. I think you
Okay,
need to
then
share something.
I actually don't know how to make this work, but I will talk over it. So as I mentioned before, the patient satisfaction has been increased by 35% from our deployed clients, from our clients in the healthcare industry. And as mentioned before, this is how the Druid interface would look like on a web interface. Not only is the Druid conversational assistant able to be deployed on web, but it also can interact with the page it is deployed on. So that if a user is already authenticated, you can see that the menu adapts to their authenticated stage and bring forth the information relevant to that particular patient. Again, using natural language, we're able to ask for a consultation by using the NLP and named entity recognition engine that is developed within Druid, and we support up to 52 languages. You can see that the conversational assistant extracts the relevant data from the conversation and then simply guides the patient in scheduling an appointment. So the bot, again, will bring in the information from the backend, but if the user wants a particular doctor, as you saw before, it is able to, the bot is able to help in that regard. Now, for the appointment booking from Druid, we can launch an RPA process. This is an example of what can be seen in the backend, where the patient's information is taken and filled in inside the internal systems that allows that particular patient to be scheduled. From the conversational assistant platform, we're able to send emails, we're able to send messages, as well as guide assisted. Basically, you can have the Druid conversational assistants act as a concierge for the patients or for the doctors, or for anyone basically working within a healthcare or within a healthcare environment or in any enterprise. I am aware of the time, so I will stop the share now, and we'll try to answer some of the questions as okay, there don't seem to be any questions. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No, absolutely, and really appreciate this presentation and just the details that you're illustrating here to bring out a lot of the nuances of what it takes to bring together this kind of architecture. So, I think, one of the things that our community and the leadership that sits in these enterprises that are really trying to transform their organizations institutionally is obstacles. There are always hidden obstacles, and you guys know this. Certainly, I've been a part of a number of transformations in my career as well. And no matter how many times you've done this, whether it's setting up an innovation lab or whether it's trying to put together a new system to do things that have been done manually or through phone calls and emails and spreadsheets, there's always something that no one anticipates. And what are some of the bigger obstacles that you all have seen in the last few years, especially during the pandemic, in trying to transform some of these healthcare institutions digitally? And what are you seeing that you just were shocked or almost surprised by, taken aback by?
I would say that one of the biggest challenges, as well as one of the best places where Druid actually stepped up, was whenever some of our clients actually in the healthcare industry required, for instance, for online appointments, a verification of the user. We were able to perform this through the Druid conversational assistant by integrating a couple other technologies. For instance, we've had liveliness detector, where basically the conversational assistant would ask the human, hey, look left or look right, making sure that it was actually the person discussing with a conversational assistant, as well as in terms of taking off the load from the contact center. This was a huge place where Druid helped, because once the pandemic struck, everyone was stuck in their homes except for the people working in the hospitals. So a lot of the people behind the wheel, behind the contact center interface, would now need to answer basically the same questions over and over again. So the Druid conversational assistants were able to take some of that load and basically free up the contact center agents from those repetitive, boring, mundane questions that any concerned patient or relative of a patient might have had. The implementation time was also quite short, so I know that within a week we were able to deploy that particular liveliness detection in one of our banking clients, actually. And I can tell you that at the same time, I was working on something similar for one of the big banks in Europe, and it took us upwards of 3 to 6 months to implement something similar, not with Druid, but with our own internal resources.
That's
So 1 week
fantastic.
versus 3 months.
No, really appreciate it, Horia and Michael. Thank you both for coming in and sharing these important tips and techniques to ensure that folks can move forward and do something and make a difference in the organization digitally. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.